My name's Melissa Avera, and I love being a realtor. I specialize in real estate in the DFW and surrounding areas, and I also grew up here, so I'm very familiar with the Metroplex. Buying or selling a home can be an extremely stressful task, so I really try to go the extra mile to take that stress out of my clients' hands.
This is Going the Extra Mile. Now, from Friedo Nation Productions in the Caddo Office Reimagined Studios, here's Melissa.
Thanks, Chris. Friedo, I know you wanted to hijack this episode, so I'm going to let you go for it. Hijack away.
I'm just going to do this real quick because I got to see something that you brought up in one of your last podcasts, and that's your client appreciation parties.
Yeah.
Or events. Do you call them parties or events? Or
Party, client appreciation program, it's just kind of all under that umbrella.
So we're recording this on a Thursday, and you had one this past Saturday that you invited me to. And I got to tell you that a lot of it was what I expected because you kind of did a very good job describing it to me, but I was still blown away. And I don't use that term lightly. What blew me away was, A, that you do it. Not too many people, they appreciate their clients, but they don't go the extra mile to actually have a regular event for them. So that's number one. And then B is that at the event, at the party, you did a great job of not being the center of attention.
Well, thanks.
And I could tell, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that's by design.
It's a party for my clients, not for me.
Mm-hmm. And you do a real good job introducing everyone to each other and connecting people. And once again, that's going the extra mile.
Well, thanks, Mark. And I really enjoy it, just getting to see everybody for more than just, outside of a business transaction. Or, a lot of times I do pop-bys and I stop by people's homes and take them little gifts and whatnot. But, you're normally only getting to visit with them for a few minutes. And doing things like this throughout the year mean a lot to me, because I really invite my favorite people are the people I invite. My top referral sources, my top clients, my closest friends, a lot of people whom I haven't even maybe done business with. But I either want to or I just want them to be part of it because they lift me up and I want them to be there. And you are definitely one of those people.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks. And you had, families there, you have retirees there, just all sorts of different demographics.
Yeah.
Were there, and everyone was getting along, and they got their free Italian ices, and you had a tent set up. It was really cool to see, especially, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting to be just like some crusty old man, but customer service just is lacking everywhere.
Yeah, it really is.
And, with COVID also, restaurants are saying, you go to a restaurant now and they're apologizing to you beforehand about how bad the service is going to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, they're
so short-staffed.
Seriously saying, we're short-staffed. Please be patient. And to me, it's not an excuse. And you still want good customer service. And other businesses, they feel like that they're doing you a favor.
Right.
By serving you. And I hate that.
And, I think that's why I chose the place that I did this party at. Because, I always try to support, being a small business owner myself, mm-hmm. I want to support businesses in my community. And I didn't know the owner of this place. I just randomly walked in there on like a Wednesday afternoon and talked to the staff, and they were super friendly, super helpful. And then I talked to the owner, and she was thrilled that I would want to do something. And I told them what I wanted to do, and they're like, you can set up in the parking lot. It doesn't matter if you have 10 people or 200 people show up. We'll accommodate them. And I felt like they did a really good job.
Do you mind sharing who they were and what they did?
It's a place in McKinney called Jeremiah's Italian Ice and Ice Cream that's relatively new. I think it's been around for a year or two. And I drive by it all the time, but I had never been in. And I was trying to think of something that would be family friendly, but that, when you ice cream, Italian ice. Most people aren't going to, on a hot day, that sounds pretty good. And I was trying to set something up for it was right before back to school, the kind of thing. And they let me really run the show. I mean, like you said, we had some tables out, pop-up tent. People could go inside if they wanted. But, I try to make it when I do these things. I try to be very respectful of people's time because everybody's busy. And people are running 90 to nothing, trying to get their kids to a sport or work or whatever it is. And so I try to make these as a come and go. So I said, hey, from 1 to 3, I'm going to be here. If you can come by if it's 5 minutes or you want to stay the whole time. And I always love when there's a lot of people that stayed the majority of the time. You just start talking to people. And I love when I see my clients meet each other and friendships develop. That just really means something to me. And some people who've come year after year, like now they see each other at these events and they always kind of sit together.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, so-and-so, how's it going? Last time you were doing this, So it's like they're becoming friends and catching up and, being able to bring my family. My husband was there helping. He was a huge part of helping me get everything set up. And, Nora, she was just pounding the ice cream.
She was.
I think last time I counted, she was on number 3. I would see her on a different client's lap.
I was going to say, she was kind of working the crowd as well.
Yeah. Just like, hey, what can you give me? Chocolate, strawberry, whatever. I just let her roll with it. She was having a good time.
But that was really neat, too. And your husband's very proud of you. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
Well, thanks.
But Clint was very, you could tell. He didn't have to say anything. I could just tell. That he was very proud of you. And the business, by the way, I got to talk to them a little bit. They opened right before the pandemic. And so they had a fun year.
Yeah.
And they were very nice people. And you'll laugh at me with this. And maybe I shouldn't have been, I was surprised because I tried to pay for my Italian ice. And no, she's got it, So I was kind of surprised at that. So thanks for my Italian ice.
Well, anytime. I mean,
I appreciate that.
That's part of it. I like to treat my clients to things from time to time. And if I can get 20 minutes of catching up with somebody and buy them an ice cream, I'm happy to do it.
And I stuck around for a little bit over an hour. I didn't see anyone that just came and left. I mean, people were sticking around. You were at 4 different tables talking to people. Clint was there talking to people. Everyone was talking. I mean, it was a very well run event, but it didn't seem like it was being run. It was very natural.
Yeah, and that's how I like it to feel. Just people comfortable and just hanging out. And I try to do, like I said, a few of these a year. Normally I'll do one in the spring or summer, try to do it somewhere. And then I've always done one the week of Thanksgiving at my house, like a gratitude gathering. And I give my clients a choice of holiday pie or a bottle of wine. And then they come over, I have food catered, they hang out. And this last year, or in 2020, I thought, man, I look forward to that every year. And because I always have a good turnout, but I didn't know if anybody was going to come because of the Rona.
I was just about to go there because I'll tell you that my first thought when I left was I'm stealing this idea because I really do care about my clients. And it was I'm stealing the idea. But then I started getting a little nervous thinking, what if I do it and no one shows up?
That's what I thought in the beginning. I mean, you have to kind of put yourself out there. And it was nerve-wracking. I thought, man, it's because a lot, depending on what I'm doing, it can be a lot of preparation. If you're doing it at a venue, a lot of times they'll have you have to do a minimum amount, like a Top Golf or something. You may have to say, yeah, I'm going to have X amount of people, and you're paying for that whether they show up or not. So the ice cream thing was great. You just pay for whatever. I mean, it would have been awesome if
I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried about the shot to my ego.
Right. Of course, nobody's showing up. But I think the people who you support and they support you, I mean, everybody that was there, they are, I would call them A-plus clients.
Mm-hmm.
They are advocates. They refer me. They use me. They ask me things. And it goes both ways. A lot of my clients there, like I had an investor client there. I had, my handyman who I refer out. So it's not just people about selling homes. It was some business stuff there too. And it's just great to build those relationships and then introduce them like, hey, this is the guy you need to call if you need handyman service. They're going to do you right.
And I wasn't eavesdropping on every conversation. And I'm sure you would have spoken business if people wanted to talk business with you.
Oh, sure.
But I didn't hear any business talk going on at all. It was all social.
It mainly was social. I mean, there was a few people that asked me about the market and like, man, I bought 4 years ago. We should sell. I'm like, yeah, you probably should. So we would have some of those side conversations. But most of it, I want it to be personal. I want to know what they've been up to, what their kids are doing. Just have that deeper connection with people. I just think that's important for lasting relationships.
And I got to talk to the handyman, and we came up with like one rule. And the rule was that there's certain things that you should have to know how to do before you're allowed to buy a house.
I 100% agree.
And one of them is you need to know how to turn your water off. And he was telling me that it's just amazing how many people own the house and don't know how to shut off their water.
Oh, yeah, clueless.
And I said, you just don't pay the bill for like 90 days. But there are certain things, well, maybe that might be another podcast we do.
Yeah, just the things you see, and I don't know if that's a generational gap. I look at, like, my dad. I always think there's nothing my dad can't fix. He's a handyman, but he learned it on his own. I mean, I'm sure his dad taught him some, but a lot of that stuff you just have to learn by doing.
Yeah.
And he didn't have YouTube and all these things that we have now. I mean, but when I get clients that, like, on a home inspection report, it will reveal, like, there's a busted sprinkler head. That's literally like $5 or less.
And easy repair.
Screw it off,
Yeah.
screw it back on, done. And they're like, how much is this going to cost? I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, I'll come over and do it for you. Like, I'll show you how simple it is. It's not a big deal. These are going to break all the time, especially if you have a lawn service.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to run them over by accident and spray everywhere. I mean, I 100% agree. There's just certain little things of being a homeowner that everybody should at least try to do.
It's kind of one of those things. I'm picturing you and your dad that before he would let you drive a car, you need to know how to change a tire.
Yeah, to some degree.
Okay.
I think for me, it was a little bit more, he's like, you're going to do this. And I was kind of white-knuckling it, scared. But but then he also taught me probably on the worst roads ever. Like these 2-lane country highway, they have a place near Lake Texoma. And these like curvy, windy roads where people are like going fast, pulling their boats. And I would literally be on the other side of the road going, closing my eyes, dodging, like, please don't hit.
That's great. But I'm going to steal that idea from you, the client appreciation party.
And I think that's something everybody should do. Like, you want to honor your clients and let them know that they really mean something to you. And it's not just their business, it's the relationships you build with people. I mean, that's just so important for me to have that connection.
And it is all about going that extra mile and going above and beyond, because people just don't do that.
Well, and just seeing how happy people are, or not, like I said, last year's been kind of crazy, and getting to catch up with a few people whom I've maybe talked to, but I hadn't seen in person because of everything.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm glad you bring that up. I hate to interrupt you. But you were genuinely happy to see everyone that came.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't fake. I mean, it was...
Well, I wouldn't invite people I didn't want there, right?
See, I might. No, just kidding. Because I appreciate people even I don't like if they're doing business with me.
Well, sure. I mean, to a degree. Like anybody, I look at as anybody who supports me and what I'm doing and my endeavors, whether that be real estate, whether that be my nonprofit. But then I also go back to what I kind of touched on our very first episode is buying or selling a house is not an easy task. And it's a lot of people, it's unknown. If they've never done it before or it's been years since they've done it, you need somebody that you can trust, that is in your corner, that knows they are going to do 100% what is in their best interest. And that's what I strive to do. And then that's how you build that relationship, because it's based on trust.
Yeah.
If I didn't do these people right, they're not going to show up.
And then as a client, you want to be appreciated also.
Absolutely.
And you definitely show that appreciation. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And it goes back to, with when I very first got into the real estate business, I realized real quick how important being relational versus people who are transactional work. And I see a lot of sides, whether it's the lending side of the deal or other agents who represent the other side. And the people who are very transactional, they don't stay in business. I've done a lot of things in my career, and I've always had an interest and always had a passion for real estate. And then when the time was right, I made the jump and I never looked back. And I know what I want to do for the long haul. And so I wanted to start it off when I very first got into it, doing these things from the get-go. And so people just expect it now every year. Like, hey, well, we're going to have a party at Melissa's in the week of Thanksgiving, and I hope people look forward to it.
Sounds like they do.
I want them to.
I look forward to the next one.
Yeah. Well, you better come.
So there.
You're invited.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. And in future episodes, we're going to talk more about real estate and maybe some nuts and bolts. But I think it's important people get to know you and what you're about.
Yeah.
Also, and that client appreciation is part of you and part of going above and beyond.
Absolutely. Connections with people are just number one priority in my book.
And that whole extra mile thing, it works.
Thanks.
If you have questions about buying, selling, renting, or investing, don't go at it alone. Reach out to Melissa at 214-280-4317 or melissa@melissamovesdfw.com. You can find out more about the Melissa Avera Realty Group at TVG by visiting melissamovesdfw.com. Thank you for listening to Going the Extra Mile.